Okay, hi, my name's Maria Tavane, and today we'll be looking at the monophthong vowels of Australian English, working from first principles, describing vowels in terms of height, backness, rounding, and for Australian English we need to consider length. And then once we've described the basics of vowels, we'll go through the Australian English vowels one by one. Okay, so let's go. So the most common vowel in the world's languages, it occurs in most languages, and in any given language it's the most commonly occurring vowel in the language, is A. And the way we write A is like this. It's an upside down A. Okay? And we'll write that down there for now. And then the next most commonly occurring vowel in the world's languages is E. And I'll just write that up here for now. And what we'll do, I'll write it outside, I think, for now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is a vowel space. I know sometimes it's a little bit weird when you hear people talk about the vowel space, but that's how we talk about vowels, and hopefully by the end of this lesson you'll have a better sense of why we refer to vowels existing in a space. Okay, so let's pronounce E and A, and I really recommend that you actually, if need be, pause the recording and say these vowels yourself. So the vowel E, A, E, A. So do it yourself, have a look in the mirror, have a look at me, and hopefully you can see that the big difference between these vowels is that for E, my mouth is relatively closed, and for A, my mouth is a bit more open. Okay, well, a lot more open. So from this, we can learn that one of the first parameters of, the first parameter in describing vowels is height. So that's this one here. So E is what we call a high vowel. So I'll just write that up here. And A is what we call a low vowel, down here. Okay. And as you can see, the jaw plays a really important role in producing these vowels. So E is high, A is low. Okay, so the jaw rotates like this, and that's why we draw a bit of an angle here. Okay, all right, in the vowel space. So the jaw's rotating, E, A. In fact, the jaw and the tongue work together in producing different vowel heights. Okay, so yeah, the articulators are cooperating in that sense. Okay, so all right, then the third vowel we're going to write up is the vowel U, and again I'll write that out here. Okay, and if you say E, A, U, no, let's just say E, U. Okay, so have a look at me, E, U, and I'm from the side, E, U. Okay, hopefully you can see one thing should be really obvious. That is that my lips are very spread for E and very rounded, protruded for U. So the second thing that we need to describe vowels is, well, one of them is rounding, but there's something a little bit more subtle that we need to work on. Okay, so if you say E, U, and maybe just put a K in front of it for now. Just for now, put a K in front and say ki, ku. Ki, ku. Hopefully what you can feel is that the tongue contact with the roof of the mouth is much more forward for ki and more back for ku. All right? And if you were to add A to that mix, I, A, U, ki, ka, ku, hopefully you'll feel that A is a bit in the centre between E and U. Okay? So what we're learning here is that what we call backness, or it doesn't really have a technical name, it's calling it backness for now, you can call it front back or we can call it frontness. is the other main really important parameter when it comes to vowels. Okay, so E is what we call a front vowel. A is what we call a central vowel. And O is what we call a back vowel. Okay, so a vowel system like E, A, O, this sort of a three vowel system is reasonably common in the world's languages, okay? You know, I think of languages like Arabic, various varieties of Arabic as having a three vowel system. Many Australian Aboriginal languages have a three vowel system, such as Pitjantjatjara, which is the language spoken sort of around that Northern Territory, South Australia, Western Australia border, including Uluru Ayers Rock area. So yeah, a three vowel system is really common. A two vowel system isn't very common. It's always controversial when you say there's only two vowels, but three vowel systems, you know, can be pretty confident. And those vowels are something like E, A, O. Okay, they define the edges of our vowel space. Okay, they're maximally dispersed in the vowel space. All right, so languages with four vowels, you know, happen, but by far, you know, the big leap comes in languages that have five vowels. And if a language has five vowels, those vowels will be something like E, E, A, O, U. Okay, E, E, A, O, U. Okay, so if you were to go E, E, A, you should see that my jaw is progressively lowering, E, E, A. And similarly, working from the back vowels, U, U, O, A. U, O, A. Okay, my jaw is progressively getting lower. So those vowels were getting progressively lower. We call this high mid, and there is also a low mid, which we'll get onto in a tick. Okay, low mid over here. Alrighty. So that was vowel height. The thing to really note as well is that in this sort of basic vowel system, backness and rounding work together. Okay, so back vowels, U, O, are rounded vowels. Okay, and front vowels are unrounded, E, E. Okay, the lips are spread. So you can get front vowels that are rounded and you can get back vowels that are unrounded. They're just not terribly common in the world's languages. And certainly they don't occur in English. So we won't worry about that for now. Okay, so yeah, and if ever you can't remember which is back and which is front, I really recommend just putting in this k in front, and you can tell then that, say, ke is more front than ko, ke. Okay, so it's a handy way to test whether one vowel is more front or more back than another. Okay, as we'll see when we do consonants eventually, the consonant k is produced with the same part of the tongue as is used in producing vowels. So that's why we can do that little test. Okay, alrighty. So I think that will do in terms of first principles of how vowels work. So let's just go and sort through the monophthong vowels of Australian English. So we have an E vowel in Australian English. Maybe I will, just trying to think, should I do that? Yes, I'll do it in green anyway. We'll leave it as is. Oh no, maybe I'll do it in a different colour so we can, there we go. Do that in orange maybe. Okay, so we have a vowel E. Now, that's the sort of vowel that you might get in a word like tea, like, you know, can I have a cup of tea, please? All right, so we would write the word tea. I might just rub out this k for now. Okay, so T would be written like this. I'll just put this between slanty brackets for now. I know that doesn't mean much to you at the moment, but it's probably not bad practice to start doing that. So in a few weeks, a few lessons time, hopefully it'll make more sense to you what the slanty brackets mean. Okay, so T. And what I've done here is I've added a couple of little dots after the E because that is actually a long vowel in Australian English. Okay. Okay, and we also have a short equivalent of this vowel, which is written like this. It's a small capital I. Okay, tip. So as in the word tip. Okay, E, E, tip. Okay, for instance, okay. And then we also have a word like hair, as in the hair on my head, and that's an air vowel. So could be a word like hair on my head. Okay, that's how we transcribe that in the International Phonetic Alphabet, which we're sort of working with at the moment. And then you can get a short version of the air vowel, which is e, and it's pretty much next door. I'll try not to draw them they're sort of next to each other. I'll just sort of draw it. They're kind of overlapping, but I have to draw them separately. Okay, so this might be the short vowel, as in a word like head. Okay, on your head you have hair. Okay, and hopefully you're getting a bit of a sense now that when we transcribe things in the phonetics, you have to ignore the spelling. Okay, when we use the phonetic alphabet to transcribe these speech sounds, the English spelling needs to get thrown out the window. Okay, so hopefully that's all okay. All right, now, so a couple of things, we'll just do the last vowel that's in the front vowel space here, which is a, and that vowel goes somewhere about down here. Okay, and this is the sound that you might get in a word like cat. Okay, so the cat sat on the mat. Okay, alrighty, so T, tip, hair, head, cat. Alrighty, and cat is a short vowel, alright, in Australian English. Okay, couple of things I probably need to say at this point. The vowels I've drawn out here, and I might write this one actually in the other coloured font because this is an Australian English vowel. I'll just pop that in with the same colour as I've done these ones. So upside down. Okay, good. So this vowel E, it's a long vowel, and it's not quite the sort of pure E vowel that we would have in many European languages, okay? So what I'm just going to do here, and I hope it's not too distracting, I'm just going to show that there's a little bit of an arrow going up towards the E, okay? And that's to show you that the E vowel is coming from the centre of the vowel space, and it's actually got some movement in it. So we actually pronounce it as E. Okay, I'm really exaggerating that, but it's coming from the middle of the vowel space and going upwards, E, okay? So it's got a little bit of an on glide. In the next lesson, we'll be doing diphthongs, but I did just want to alert you that it's not a pure E. If this was a pure E, we would be saying T, not T, T. I'm really exaggerating there. So that's just a little bit of a warning. If you didn't get that, don't worry. It doesn't really matter, but I just sort of want to be upfront about that and let you know that the Australian English vowel, even though we use the symbol E, is actually not pronounced like a pure European style E, for example. We have a little bit of this on glide. Okay. All right. Oh, and then we've got the A vowel. And that will turn up in words like, I think I need to start rubbing out a few things. So I haven't got much space on this board, I'm afraid. Okay. Okay. There we are. So the vowel would turn up in a word like cut, as in cut the paper with scissors. Okay. So cut. And we also, this is a short vowel, but it has a long equivalent as well. And we write that, I'm going to write it next to it. Really, they sort of occupy the same little spot on the vowel space, but, and that's the word cart, okay, as in, I don't know, horse and cart is how people used to get around in the old days, okay. Oh, goodness. Well, that's actually, I've just written the word car, as in my car, I like to drive my car, okay. So I could put a T on the end and it'll become cart. Okay. So yeah, that's the low central vowels. Okay. Now, we also have some back vowels to deal with in Australian English. Okay. Now we have a vowel U, and that is actually written, believe it or not, we don't use that symbol. We use a symbol that looks like this. Okay, I've tried to draw that. There's a bit of a historical reason that we use this for the short U vowel, as in cook. I like to cook. Okay. Cook. Yep. These little symbols here, U, I, and A, really mainly get used for Germanic languages. Okay, so English is a Germanic language like German and Dutch, and it's really a historical thing that we use these special symbols for the short vowels. I, A, U. Sorry, I, A, U. Sorry about that. So just go with the flow. If you know Australian English or any variety of English had never been described, and someone had to come in and write a grammar of the language, they probably wouldn't be choosing these symbols. Okay, they'd probably just choose the regular ones, even though it's a short vowel. So just go with it. It's meant to reflect the sense that it's come in a little bit from the pure edges of the vowel space. That's what the symbols are meant to reflect. But it's, in my opinion, it's a little bit problematic. So just learn the symbol and work with it. Okay. What else do I want to say? So we've got the vowel U, the high back rounded vowel. We had the low central vowels here. Okay, and then we have to do the long vowel equivalent of U. Now, the long vowel equivalent of U in Australian English is not U. We don't say, I just want a brain fade, sorry. We don't say who is your friend, okay? We say who. And it's actually a central vowel, and we write it like this. It's a rounded central vowel, and it's just a U with a line through it and then 2 dots to show length, okay? So that's, you can get a sense that your U vowel, I better write the word who, as in who is your friend, or who are you, okay? So this is a vowel that is central, and if you just do a quick test with, remember, put k in front, or if you say cook, and then coo, okay, coo. So pause the recording if you need to, and really confirm that the U is more back than the U. Okay, so we call this a high central rounded vowel, but it's the pair, if you like, with the high back rounded vowel, the short one. Okay, all right. So a few more vowels to go through. We have 12 monophthong vowels in Australian English, and there's a lucky number 13 as well. All right, so we'll keep ploughing through. Next we've got the vowel OR, and that's a long vowel in Australian English. And I'm going to run out of space, so I'm just going to have to, I'm afraid, rub things out again. Sorry about that. Run out very quickly. So, you know, were the vowel or, as in door, please close the door, or caught. Okay, I caught the ball. Okay, so that would be something like caught the ball, or close the door. Okay, all right. Now, its short equivalent is the vowel O. And that's actually a low mid vowel. So O is high mid, you can see from my lips, or O is low mid. You can see my lips are more open. Okay, so those counterparts have a change in quality. We say this is a change in vowel quality. Okay, they've moved around in the space. Long short counterpart, whereas E and E didn't move that much. E and E didn't move really. A and R didn't move. Okay, but O and O, big change in vowel quality. U and U, change in vowel quality. Okay, but they're still long and short counterparts. So O would be in a word like cot, as in the cot for the baby, or the dot on the page, or sorry. Okay, let's write sorry. So, re, and the r for Australian English, we write it upside down. We'll cover this when we do consonants, but it doesn't hurt to see it at this point. So sorry, it's a long vowel at the end. Okay, so yeah, that was sorry. Okay, so I think I've now just got one more of the monophthong vowels to do before I do my lucky last number 13. Okay, so the one I need to do is Now, in Australian, where shall I write this? Maybe I'll write it about up, maybe I'll write it here. It's hard to, sometimes, sorry, I'm not dithering. It's sort of, sometimes it's hard to know exactly where you should write things. I'll explain in a tick. Okay, so this is a vowel we write it as the number 3 with 2 dots afterwards. So this is like the sound in bird. Okay, the birds in the trees. Okay, bird. So technically this is a low mid unrounded central vowel. Technically it's meant to live down here according to the International Phonetic Alphabet. But we use the same symbol in Australian English. For most of you, I bet a lot of you probably have rounding when you say bird, you probably got lip rounding. And it's probably higher in the vowel space. So if I were to be really, really pure and pronounce this vowel as it's meant to be pronounced, it'd be something like bird, bird, something like that. But that's not how we say it in Australian English. We say bird, and the tongue is quite forward, front, okay? And the lips are a bit rounded for most people, okay? So that's the vowel. All right, so hopefully you've twigged by now that, you know, really when it comes to positioning front, central, back, that's about the tongue position, okay? And yeah, whereas we said height was jaw and tongue, the front, central, back is, you know, more the tongue on its own, simplifying things a bit there. But so you can always do the old test of putting the k in front. So instead of bird, we say curd, curd, as in curds and whey. And you should be able to feel that the tongue is really quite front there for you. Okay, so that's the 12 monophthong vowels. There is a lucky last vowel that well, very, very important vowel, sorry. And that is the vowel, oops, easy, I think I might have just done something with the lights there. Okay, and that is the vowel known as schwa. So let me pop that in here. And it's an upside down E, sort of. Just note how I write that. So this is a mid sort of central vowel, okay? I haven't said high mid, haven't said low mid, I've just said mid and I've said central. In fact, it moves around the vowel space an awful lot, Okay, it's a vowel that is very flexible, and I will just write its name there. It's called schwa. S-C-H-W-A. There it is. Okay, so we just refer to the vowel as schwa, to be honest. And it's an extremely, extremely common vowel in English. It turns up only in unstressed syllables, so it cannot turn up in a word on its own with no other goodness. So you couldn't say something like, so it's pronounced just nice and short. So in Australian English we can't say fish, fish. I know they can in New Zealand, but we can't in Australian English. So in Australian English it only turns up in unstressed syllables. And the example I always think of is a word like police. So lease. And what we do is we just put a little stress there to show that the lease is a stressed syllable, as in call the police, you know, there's a robber here. And this is the unstressed syllable p, okay, police. So very, very common at the ends of words, this vowel. So I could say sister. Let me just do good form and put my stress mark there. Oh, and good form, and I'll just put them between the slanty brackets there. Okay, sister. All right. At the ends of words, really common. I need to make a point here. In English, words cannot end with a short vowel unless that vowel is schwa, okay? So we cannot have a word like ni. Asterisk actually means it's not allowed, okay? So a word like ni doesn't exist in English. It has to be either knit, oops, today's sorry, knit, as in knit a jumper, or it has to be a long vowel, ni. Okay. So we cannot end a word with a short vowel in English. Schwa is a short vowel, and it's the only vowel that's allowed at the ends of words. Many of you may have been tempted to write sister or, you know, mother, brother, father with a final a vowel. Okay. And this is sort of relates to what I said, that schwa moves around the vowel space a lot. Okay, it probably even, you know, you could say it moves around the vowel space an awful lot. Okay, and at the ends of words, it does sound a lot like So just know that in the correct phonology, the grammar of the speech sounds of Australian English, will not occur at the end of a word. No short vowel. There will be no e, e, at, o, u. They won't occur at the ends of words, whereas the long vowels can occur at the ends of words in Australian English. So that I've given the example of bird, and yep. So I think that pretty much covers the monophthong vowels. And so in the next lesson, we're going to cover the 5 diphthongs of Australian English. Okay, but here are the 13 monophthongs, 12 sort of pure vowel qualities, and then schwa. I shouldn't say the others are pure vowel qualities. That's not really nice. So we'll say 12 plus 1, or we'll say 13.